far out. Kia ora, kia ora, kia ora, kia ora koutou. Kia ora koutou katoa. Ngā mihi nui kia koutou te rōpū kākariki, ngā kaitau toko e aroha nei te kaupapa mō te taiao me ngā mokopuna, nō reira tēnā koutou, kia ora tātou katoa. Whānau. It is the greatest honour of my life to lead the Green Party with James Shaw and to work with you and our communities for an Aotearoa that protects our mokopuna and our planet. And I am so proud and grateful to every single one of you here and around Aotearoa, the strength that you have given us. We have carried your spirit, your energy, your passion with us every step of the way. Thank you all for your inspiring mahi. Honestly, your mahi, whether you voted for the very first time, whether you knocked on doors or picked up the phone, whether you put up billboards or delivered leaflets, designed campaign artwork or fed our volunteers, or slayed in debates, every single action, we brought our values and heart to bear. Now, let me be clear, e te iwi, e te Pāti Kākariki. Your work has delivered a Green Party campaign that has once again defied history. Oh my goodness, massive congratulations to Tamatha Paul. Wait, no, because I love this bit. Earlier, even just this evening, people were calling Wellington Central a Labour stronghold, but it is looking more and more likely as the night goes on that the people of Wellington Central have elected a Green MP. And there's more, no, wait. No, I haven't even finished yet. And holy heck, Julianne Genter.
Marama Davidson there.
Marama Davidson
in the Greens.
Great time.
We're waiting for Chris Hipkins to come out of his house.
The contrast
New Zealand
here,
Prime Minister, but not for much longer.
Well, that's the thing. The contrast here couldn't be greater. At the National Party HQ, they are drinking mum, and Chris Hipkins tonight might need his mum, because on these numbers, it is a shocking result, 26.2%. We are seeing a little bit of a change, though, in the National Party in just the last half an hour, Jenna. They're dropping back slightly.
Yeah, dropping back slightly, but when you're looking at the seats that they're getting in the House, they're still on 51 seats. The ACT Party's still on 12 seats, so we're not seeing too much of a shift of how they could make up a government, but they're now just over that 40% mark. Megan Woods was saying that they were, and you, Stu, were saying that when Labour is looking to those later counts for some of those big South Auckland booths to come in, and look, we might see Labour go up a bit and National go down a bit.
Let's go to Chris Hipkins' house and bring in Alexa. Alexa, you're there. What's the mood like where you are? Is anything going on? We're waiting on Hipkins to come out. Labour currently on 26% with 59% of the vote counted. Kia ora, Alexa. Can you hear us okay?
I think we're getting the audio from Winston's party, but we're actually looking at Alexa.
Yeah.
Hi guys.
Oh, there she is. We've got you now, Alexa. The lights are on in the van behind you, so do we think that he's going to be on the hoof soon?
It has been a long, long wait, but Chris Hipkins is hopefully just moments away from appearing now, about an hour later than we expected. He will be coming just around this corner here and then hopping in his van and heading off to the Lower Hutt party headquarters, where there might not be the party he hoped for.
Do you think, Alexa, at this stage, and also asking our panellists, do you think he's made a concession phone call to Christopher Luxon yet?
Stuart?
Probably not quite
hard to
yet,
know.
but
We
it's
haven't had
probably
any intel from here.
It's probably not too far away. But again, let me go back to that Green speech. I mean, it's a Pyrrhic victory, right? So they may have won more seats, but they've lost any ability to influence. And the Greens can only do well or only implement their agenda if Labor is strong. Labor's been smashed by all accounts, therefore the Greens have no influence. So, you had two former ministers, addressing a crowd as if they'd won a victory. It's pretty hollow for the Greens, I would say.
I wouldn't imagine that Hipkins has made that call quite yet. We're at 60%, and we're still seeing a few of those kind of little changes that are happening there, and he'll be looking at some of those big booths coming through. But yeah, can I just sort of reiterate what Stuart just said? I mean, you've got the Greens kind of, sounding like they've just won government. Well, James Shaw is no longer, Minister of Climate Change. Julianne Gent is no longer doing associate transport. Marama's no longer able to influence homelessness in this country, which she purported was so important to her.
Well, and think about what Josie Pagani said before about the absolute reduction in the number of people voting left in the country on tonight's...
Just a third of the country, wasn't
Just
it?
a third of the country, and MMP is about winning your block.
Totally.
So you can't just celebrate, as the Greens are doing, their vote up when overall, on the centre-left, that vote has taken an absolute pounding.
Why is it that the Green Party is not open to working with either side of the political spectrum?
I've never been able to figure this out. And I can figure it out. It's because of the hard rump of that party who would never stomach it. Think about where the Greens came from. But Green parties internationally who have been successful, i.e. Germany particularly, they sit in the middle, in like a Winston has done, and they are prepared to work with either side. So there could be some soul searching after this.
And climate change doesn't simply go away simply because your natural coalition partner fails.
James is a fantastic minister. I think James could sit naturally in Labor, National, with a coalition there, but what has to happen is any deal that the Greens do has to go out to their members to verify.
It's the annoying thing about the Greens.
Does that need to change?
Well, that's up to the Greens.
Yeah, that's
well, sure, but
you
in your view?
You can't make that change without asking the members.
But if you want to be pragmatic, if the Greens really want climate change, and James is an expert on this, he really is.
They
no
really
one knows
don't
more.
want climate change.
Well, maybe they don't, but if they really do want to address climate change, then James is the guy to do that.
But, I mean, they are miles apart on social issues.
They really
are. And, I mean, you teasingly call them the watermelon party, green on the outside and red on the inside. I mean, we are so diametrically opposed to where we believe, the social and economic influence in this country is at, that you just can't see that partnership.
Also, if people wanted a right-green party, there's one sitting there, top. And they're on 2%.
Yeah. But they've said they'll work with either side.
But,
We're bringing the button out again. Okay, it is time.
Can we do some kind of... Oh, whoa.
Yeah, it's a bit like
Linda's back.
My turn. Okay, let's go back. Here she goes.
Here she is.
All right, so...
What's she going to do?
We're going to get Laser Kiwi to hatch an egg. Are we ready to go?
Come on, Linda, what do you got back there?
3, 2, 1...
Out she pops.
Oh, she's laying an egg.
Oh my God.
She's not sending someone off. We're welcoming
out.
somebody back to the Parliament. Who is it going to be? Oh, the laser.
She laces it open. What's a double yoga?
Oh, my Lord. We've got Winston Peters and Shane Jones.
It's a double yoker. Can I just...
New Zealand's first, winning 8 seats in this selection.
Can I just say
Back in the Parliament.
Congratulations and thank you to all the hard work for all of our graphics people and AR people and whoever put all this together. We're going live now to the Hut. Chris Hipkins, the current Prime Minister, leader of the Labor Party, currently sitting with just 33 seats on this vote. 26% of the vote is about to leave his house.
Let's go to Alexa.
We are just waiting for him. He's almost here. His staff have already got in the van. So Chris Hipkins should be the next one to come around the corner any moment now.
Alexa, do you think he's going to do that tricky thing where he goes around the other side and we miss him because of the tinted windows and he's snuck in that way? I mean, that would be quite telling if he didn't want to have a quick word to us.
We have been promised that he will come round the corner towards us. Here he comes now.
Have you called this?
Is this person expected?
Have you conceded, Chris?
Have you conceded?
Have you conceded?
Oh, it's a tough night for Chris Hipkins. He's been Prime Minister since January for 9 months. We're talking about a career politician This is surely his dream, was to be Prime Minister, and he knows now that he is not going to be able to continue on in the role.
And as you say, 9 months, Sam, and he was a minister of everything in his time when he's been in Cabinet, Minister of Police, Minister of Education, Minister of COVID for 5 minutes, and now Prime Minister for 9 months.
He's a Prime Minister with a bit of an asterisk, isn't he? Because he's never going to say that he was elected Prime Minister unless he sticks around in opposition and then comes back. What are your thoughts, Stuart?
Well, look, Bill English took National Party to the worst victory I think they'd ever had, and he came back and he was Prime Minister and he was a very successful Finance Minister. So
And got them to 44%.
And got them to 44%.
Didn't get them in government.
Well, I mean, he was your Prime Minister.
Yeah, he was.
So, you know, there is life after defeat if Chris decides that's the route he wants to take. But I don't think he's thinking about that at this point in time. I suspect he's going to be there. He'll take responsibility because he does. That's what leaders do. But then Labor will have a good sit down and think through, where to from here.
But he's not going anywhere, is he? He's not quitting politics. He's not going to resign.
No, well, he's won his seat. You know, you don't want to make decisions in the heat of the moment, in the spur of the moment. So let the dust settle and see where he ends up.
They're tired,
I don't know. I think we'll see.
Everybody will be tired, right? I mean, my first night of victory, I literally sat there crying on the couch because you're just exhausted. If you haven't got to this stage without being, I mean, God,
totally.
Jenna's exhausted. Come on, you guys are. I've got a second wind in me. Let's get back to the polls. Yeah, I do feel for them though. Emotions will be really high, and they have tried hard.
He'll be
But the talk
gutted.
for Labor has been about could they save the furniture this election? And if you look at the result now, it's about what are the foundations that will be left standing. And go back to Mount Roskill as a great example. Michael Wood, who was turfed out of Cabinet, but then everyone has said there might be a path back to him, picked as a future Prime Minister. Will he even be there to be able to do that? So it's going to leave the cupboard pretty bare for Labor.
The look on Chris Hipkins' face was just utter devastation. And this is a guy who his resting face is a big chippy grin.
Chippy, yeah.
He just looked gutted.
West Auckland was Labor. Westies, this is Labor. And by the look of the results at the moment, West Auckland could go blue. I mean, Paula, does this happen? Has it happened? Did you pick it?
I mean, not for Te Atatu. I never picked it. Well, look, I think Angie's amazing. So it wasn't about her. It was just about Phil's name recognition, quite frankly, and the Labor stronghold that seat is and was. New Lynn. Deborah Russell, popular, has, worked it hard, and they're looking like losing. So when you look at West Auckland and the change there, mind you, John Howard always used to say, if you want to win an election, you've got to win West Sydney. And I'll tell you what, West Auckland's a little bit the same.
One of the only places on the map that Paddy showed us before that was red is Dunedin, and Taieri, which is red as red as red as red as red. I come from there. Ingrid Leary's only winning it by 700 votes.
Wow. That is where... That red comes out of the taps in Taieri. That is how deep this thing goes. Labor hasn't lost a seat in Dunedin since 1975. And to be that close is an absolutely incredible statistic to come out of tonight. We're going to take a quick break. This is Newshub's live election special. We'll be back with much more, maybe even hearing from the current Prime Minister and Labor leader Chris Hipkins when we return. He was talking, 40.2 they're down to, and the ACT Party on 9.2. And as he was talking, their numbers were dropping. We're going to go to Amanda Gillies right now, who is with Christopher Luxon outside of his house. Amanda.
I think we've got some movement there. Let's check in.
Hi,
Kia ora, Amanda.
Ryan and Sam, no sign of Christopher Luxon at this sign. We have seen his Crown car go in, though, so that is a very good sign. We think maybe about 10 minutes away, but he's holed up in his home with his wife Amanda and his two kids, William and Olivia. We've been told he's very relaxed, he's very chilled, he's feeling very laid back, and I bet incredibly excited. We understand he's going to come past here. I don't think he is going to stop and talk to us. He's got a far better offer down at Shed 10 where all his supporters are. But can I just show you through here? A lot of his supporters and neighbours have turned up to cheer him on. They are so proud of him. They are so excited. Yeah, it's got a very cool, buzzy feel. And thank you to the lovely Anne who delivered us some Toto pizzas. 4 boxes of them. We are forever grateful, Anne, whoever you are. So I'll keep you updated, hopefully about 10 minutes away.
Yeah, can I just
Thanks so much, Amanda. Sorry, Paddy. We've got Hipkins. He's heading on in with Amelia.
Talk to the people who have put so much time and energy and effort into this campaign first.
Are you devastated?
And then I will talk to you guys afterwards. So.
How devastating is this for Labor, though? It must have been pretty hard to watch those results come in.
As I've indicated, I'm going to talk to the people in there first. So.
And sort of what about those people who are sitting around watching the country? What's your message to them?
That you were saying was coming, it just never arrived. Why do you think it didn't come?
Oh, this is a hard one.
He's going to make it awkward, yeah. This is difficult.
What is your message to all of
he
those
looks so
people
upset,
who were
doesn't he?
out in support and tried to
Prime
increase that
Minister
vote? What's your message to them?
The party's been smashed.
Hold your horses and let me actually get out of the way so I can get into the room. You'll hear it.
No.
No one likes
What was your
seeing
reaction
them.
when you first saw those
Results
results come in this evening?
This is politics, though.
Yeah.
The old saying is that if you want to be a surgeon, don't complain about the blood.
Yeah. Hey, but a lot of volunteers will have worked blimmin' hard out there, as I know. You know, they knock on the bloody signs and they do their thing. But no, good on Chris Hipkins.
But in saying that, you know, the political reality here, this is a hard game. Yep. And he was given a great opportunity with 9 months as Prime Minister and all of the power of the incumbency of being in government to turn things around and have a decent shot at this election. All of that has been wasted. And actually, it is hard on the volunteers, as you've said, when potentially you're out volunteering and you've got this mishmash of policies. They've completely misjudged where the electorate is going. They haven't been able to find what they're doing. And that's what...
Is this mistake not going in April?
How much of this is Hipkins and how much of this is actually the ghost of Jacinda Ardern? You know, how much of this can you put onto Chris Hipkins? How damaged was the Labor brand before she left it and handed it over to her?
But listen to what Stuart Nash just said there. Listen to what Stuart Nash just said there about going for the election back in April. Stuart, do you think that would have been a good idea?
Well,
you were in Cabinet then.
Hindsight is 20/20 vision. There's no doubt about that, Paddy. If we'd gone in 2020, if we'd gone in April, then absolutely. I mean, Luxon was a mess then. He couldn't give a speech. He couldn't do an interview. This is a man who has peaked at the right time. Of that, there is no doubt.
Yeah, and I will say about Christopher Luxon, he needs a massive shout-out. This is a guy who has been in Parliament for 3 years and is now becoming Prime Minister of New Zealand with 40% of the vote. That is an incredible achievement.
I think not just because he's leader, he has to take the blame for this performance. He also made some calls very early on, bread and butter and race to the centre. And National, I think, had already claimed the centre by the time he came in with a policy of retrenchment. That's kind of what he did here. He could have gone more aspirational to try and grow the vote on the left, and it didn't turn out on the night.
Yeah. Do you take a little bit of the responsibility, though? You were one of 5 ministers that let Hipkins down. I
went really hard to get stuff done. And, you know, I make no apology because I think that Cabinet Minister is there to get stuff done. And that's what I was trying to do in police and my own electorate and to help SMEs. But when the tide goes out, it is very difficult.
Hang on a second, though, because there was a bit of a scandal around what happened with you, what happened with Kiritapu Allen, Meka Whaitiri defected. You know, there was minister after minister after minister that left. And, I mean, you could argue that he has just had a horrendous run since taking over the reins.
Well, it's a death by 1,000 cuts. I don't think it's any one thing in particular. I think there was a move for change out there. Jenna mentioned the lockdown in Wellington. You know, Labor has never got... in Auckland. Labor has never got that back. The resentment still exists there. But, you know, when the swing comes, when the mood for change is real, then get out of the way.
Yeah. We haven't actually talked about the COVID. He had COVID for a week.
No, we haven't talked about that. We've been avoiding the C word all night for a reason.
When he was in lockdown.
True.
He got a bump in the polls.
As it did in Australia too. Hey, I want to talk about Wairarapa because we've been chatting about that a lot tonight, and I've just heard that actually Kieran McAnulty, let's take a look at what the numbers are doing here. Mike Butterick, the National candidate, has taken Wairarapa. This is with 90% of the votes returned, and I've just heard from on the ground there that Kieran McAnulty, Senior Labor Minister, has just gone and conceded to Mike Butterick at the National Party headquarters in Masterton just in the last half an hour. So that seat has gone blue once more. It was held by Georgina Bayer for a little while there, but it was blue for a long time, then flipped red, now it's back.
Now, there's something bigger going on here because what you're looking at there with that result is you're actually looking at, and the way that Chris Hipkins was looking there so glum, the Labor Party now has a leadership crisis. OK, Chris Hipkins is potentially not suitable to carry on as the leader of the opposition after this thrashing that he's got there. But then you've got people like Michael Wood, who could replace him, likely not to make it back to Parliament. Kieran McAnulty, another likely replacement, likely to not make it back to Parliament. Labor is now staring down the barrel of a leadership scrap and a leadership crisis because they ain't got no one to do
the great irony, Paddy, is Kieran will probably be back because we lost a whole lot of seats that we should never have lost. But being a cabinet minister, he has a high ranking, and so
he's 16.
He's 16, so he'll be back.
On the numbers right now, he would be back as a list MP.
But he doesn't look very good as a potential leader, a guy that can't win his seat.
And a guy that's actually quite centrist. Like in your party, he's actually quite centrist. He was the regional bloke, wasn't he, and driving the ute and doing all of that, and he hasn't resonated.
But this is crazy because we're talking about we should have been talking about Kieran McAnulty being out of Parliament, but because Labor is losing so many electorate seats, this is wild.
And just to riposte around him not winning his seat, how many electorate races did Jacinda Ardern win when she stood for Auckland Central? So, someone losing their seat is not actually a precursor of whether or not they'd be.
But Jacinda Ardern did have the Mount Albert.
She's got Mount Albert
became the leader, so there you go.
Yeah.
Paddy's right, is what. Swing of the king, you better not.
Bring it off to a gunfight. I got it.
Hey, just on Mount Albert, having a look at Mount Albert, Melissa Lee is only leading by one. She's leading by one, and she was up by several hundred. So Helen White's making a bit of a comeback there.
Yeah, so Paddy, Paddy went hard very early, and we kept saying, hold off, Paddy, hold off. There's more votes.
Those big boots are coming in. Look,
don't worry, I'm getting back over to the flip wall now. You'll see some interesting stuff. Like I said, swing of the king, you better not miss.
National's back at 40.1 now.
Which is still bad, right? Because you're talking about a seat they should be winning comfortably.
What was Jacinda's majority? 19,000?
Something like that. Yeah, crazy.
But this party vote's interesting. As you say, we're at 40.1 now. We're still at 51 seats for National, but we were at sort of 42 there at one stage. I think anything over 40 is still very much a win for the party because everyone had sort of 37, 38 just a matter of 2 or 3 days ago. But it's the numbers and the numbers of seats in the House that matter the most, and so your 51 there plus your 12 with ACT has still got you at 63, and at the moment we've got 121, that one seat overhead. So, hey, we've still got a bit of movement to go there, even though we are 75%.
Can I make another point?